Hello, my loves. Welcome into this video for the Scorpio full moon lunar eclipse. This video is for you. If this eclipse is happening in your 12th house, meaning your rising sign is Sagittarius, and or 14 degrees 58 minutes of Scorpio shows up in your 12th house. If you have not already watched the introduction to this reading, it's linked in the description and popping up on YouTube. The houses represent where things happen in our lives, and the where of the 12th house is the house of the hidden realms, ruled by the 12th sign of the Zodiac, which is Pisces. This is the area of your life that deals with your unconscious, your dreams, your fears, your secrets, and your intuition. So it's this beautiful world that's all of the places and all of the things that we don't know consciously. And our intuition happens on an unconscious level, right? It's below our conscious understanding. And it's a very interesting house to talk about, an area of our life to talk about. And it's always fun for me to dive into the 12th house readings and interpretations because being its nature is hidden. Sometimes it's hidden, the information that's coming through, but we'll see what comes through. We're going to find out from the Light Seer Tarot what affirmation is here for you for the next 6 months, and we're going to relate it to the 12th house and how to free ourselves from the human condition with this affirmation and the energy of this house. So if you have not already closed your eyes, taken a few deep breaths, and opened your heart to receive the guidance most aligned for you at this time, here's your opportunity to do that. You can call on your spiritual support team. I just ask that they be here in unconditional love, in service of you, and in service of the highest good of all. All right, there's your card. Beautiful. You got the Three of Pentacles. Your affirmation is, I step into the vibration of conscious collaboration. Here it is if you want to pause the video and write it down. There we go. This is a beautiful affirmation and a beautiful card. And how I'm going to relate this to the human condition content and the 12th house. It's twofold. So I feel there may be some of you that fear working with others. You may have worked with others in the past, and that may have not worked out well for you. And so there may be some fear, because this is also a theme of the 12th house is fear. And you may have an unconscious resistance to working in groups. It's interesting that it talks about conscious collaboration. So one theme that has come up a bunch during these readings, you're the last reading I'm doing for this series. One of the themes that has come up is the impact that understanding the human condition has on group work. Because a group is only as successful as the individuals making it up. And if the individuals making it up are not living in a way that they know their intrinsic value, that their involvement in the group is somehow coming from a place of needing validation, or their coping with the human condition gets in the way of their collaboration to the group, like they may actually be deterring from the group because of some sort of coping mechanism that they have, or some sort of validation seeking that they may be doing. This is such an important understanding because it explains to us sorry, I just added these new alerts and I'm still getting used to them. It's awesome that they're popping up though. I love it. It's so fun. So the human condition is a trauma that we've all experienced because we came into this world as instinctual beings expecting love and nurturing and cooperation from our caregivers and from the world at large. none of us experienced that. And it was traumatic for all of us. And we've been coping with the pain of that in many different ways. And the validation seeking comes from the question that we asked ourselves when we noticed that the world wasn't the way that we thought it would be. We asked, was it because there was something wrong with us? And we started to feel guilt and shame for perhaps being the problem. And so a lot of our behavior can be validation seeking, and that can compromise groups and our coping mechanisms, the way that we cope with the pain of the human condition and run from the human condition. And all of that can also cause a lot of disharmony in groups. Now, your affirmation was to act consciously and work in groups in a conscious way. And so you're bringing the understanding of the human condition into your groups, because when we work in groups that are where the individuals are whole, they are not coping with the human condition. They understand why the world isn't ideal, and they see a way for the world to become ideal through this understanding. It's a much different vibration for them to come into a group with. And if you understand, and everyone else in the group understands, that you have intrinsic value without needing to do anything. You just are an intrinsically valuable human being, and you don't need to do anything to prove that, but your soul is urging you, your intuition. And now here I'm going to bring in the intuition piece, because intuition is a huge part of our instinctual nature, that unconscious part of ourselves. We're starting to merge our conscious thinking mind, our intellect, with our instincts, or we could call it our intuition. And so when we're consciously following our intuitive guidance, especially for you when it comes to groups, there is such beauty, such magic, and such harmony that exists in that place, because our instincts were created, were developed through harmony, cooperation, and collaboration. And when we consciously learn to defer to the instinctual guidance, the intuitive guidance that we are being offered, group dynamics have so much potential, and we have so much potential within groups to consciously co-create something that's greater than we could have created by ourselves. Sagittarius rising, I don't know that I have much more to add here. Be aware that you might have in your unconscious belief system a fear that you are unworthy. Okay? Watch your energy, watch how it moves, be aware of when you are trying to seek validation, when you are hoping that something will give you a boost, hoping that something will make you feel better. Like for me, it's a simple example. I like to paint rocks. And whenever I finish a rock, I like to take a picture of it and send it to like my rock painting crew. But if I'm sending it with the energy of, oh, I hope they say they like it. I hope it's really good, but I really need them to tell me that it's good. And if they tell me it's bad, then I'll feel bad. If I'm in that space when I'm sending the message, then I'm seeking validation from that exchange. So watching for where you're doing that, in the ways that you're doing that, and you may be collaborating in groups with this energy. And that doesn't mean you have to drop the groups. I still paint rocks. I still share pictures of the rocks that I paint with people. But I'm doing it from a conscious place instead of acting out of my unconscious wounds. And this is what I'm inviting you into, bring into your awareness and into your interactions, particularly when it comes with groups, for groups. Some of the times when we're doing good deeds, we're doing them because we are seeking validation. We think that if we do this good thing, then maybe we'll be good. I know this one because I have this one. My services have always been based on guiding people back to the wise instinctive knowing that exists within them. I've been wanting to get to the root cause of all suffering for humanity and find a way to clear it and offer it as my work. However noble that intention has been, I have checked that intention and that my involvement with these services, and I have noticed that there was a validation seeking that was there. Sometimes it still pops up. But now that I'm aware of it, I can consciously work with that energy. Okay. So even the things that we think we're doing because we're selfless and loving, they actually developed from a place, or they have this unconscious nuance of needing validation attached to it. Again, it doesn't mean that you have to stop doing what you're doing. It just means that recognize when you're doing it for validation and try to remove that from the equation, because if you're not coming into a group as a stable whole who knows they're worthy, you're bringing the human condition into that group. Okay? Because the human condition is not understanding your intrinsic value, and is not understanding that your soul naturally wants to cooperate, and your intellect, your mind, has made up a story about you not being worthy because it's noticed that the world is messed up and it thinks maybe it's the problem. Because instinctually we know it should be different. And when we make choices in our own lives that cause pain to others, and we act unconsciously in ways that we deem inappropriate, we beat ourselves up for that. And then we need more validation. We need more things from outside of us to make us feel better about who we are, to heal our shame and guilt. And we all know that that validation seeking from external sources is temporary, right? But we still do it because we don't know the truth of our goodness. We don't know the truth of our innocence. And now that we have the understanding presented by Jeremy Griffith, you can watch the interview if you want to learn more about what it is that I'm talking about here. Now that we have this understanding, there's no excuses to bring this into groups. There's no shame or guilt for doing it, but we get to be conscious when we're in groups of when we're trying to seek validation, and when our competing with somebody else is really because we don't want them to have the center of attention, because we don't feel secure enough in ourselves unless we're the center of attention. Those kinds of things can pop up in group dynamics, and you're being asked to be on the lookout for it for the next 6 months. All right? Let me know how this resonates. Let me know if you have questions. And as always, namaste. The universal light within me salutes and honors the universal light within you. Namaste.